Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about me working outside on our chicken coop and our chicken run. Just wanted to come out here and spruce it up, give it a little bit of a makeover and clean it out completely. I'm going to be building a poop shelf, or a shit shelf as some people call it. That way when my chickens are roosting at night, they're pooping onto the poop shelf and not onto the main floor of their chicken coop. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I'd love to have you watch and see how I build this poop shelf. And I also will be showing you a tour of my chicken coop and my chicken run at the end of the video, like a full detailed tour. But just wanted to come out here and get it all ready for spring because the weather is warming up. But as you can tell in this video, there is still a lot of snow on the ground. This was filmed right after we had that snowstorm, and I just now got around to editing the video because I went to California for a week to visit family and I didn't have time while I was there to finish this video and get it uploaded. So I apologize for the delay in my posting. So let's just go ahead and get started. I needed to haul down all of my building materials for the poop shelf and my tools and just things that I'm going to need to work on this project. And I love having this Honda Pioneer. It makes my life so much easier with having farm animals. But anyway, I'm just gonna unload everything that I'm gonna need. And this project did take me a few days to complete because I only had the late afternoons and early evenings to work out here. So you'll see a lot of outfit changes and you'll see the snow starting to melt in throughout this video. But it was definitely a project that was worth my time and my efforts, that's for sure. So here's what our coop looks like currently. It's a bit of a mess. I need to replace the lower half of the nesting box pads. The bottom three are the most frequently used nesting boxes, and they're pretty gross because we have been in a freeze over the last week and I haven't been able to get down here to collect eggs because the 10 inches of snow we had turned into ice and it was just too dangerous for me to walk down here and collect the eggs, so a lot of them froze and cracked. The bedding is also pretty gross because I haven't been able to clean it out due to the weather. I need to remove the roost bars and remove all of the bedding, and there's even some eggs in the back that shouldn't be there. The walls also need a little wipe down. And then after everything is cleaned, I'm going to start building the poop shelf that's going to go underneath the roost bars. It's going to go about right here, just probably about 3 feet off the ground. And I'm going to mount it to the walls. And that way when the chickens poop while they sleep, the poop will go onto the poop shelf and I can sift the poop out with my poop scoop, which means the bedding underneath where they walk around will stay clean and they won't poop on it as much. Chickens do poop while they roost at night all night long, so most of the poop will accumulate under the roost bars, and a poop shelf will just help keep their main bedding a lot cleaner.
This is a good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under.
Alright, so the first step is to get this coop cleaned out, and I'm going to remove everything out of the coop. So I'm going to take the nesting boxes out, all the roost bars. I have a little chair in here that the chickens like to use as like a step to get up to the roost bars, so I got to take that out. And then I'm going to work on cleaning out all of the nasty old bedding.
Today and not tomorrow. This morning has a clearer light as any to see the horizon.
So for me, using a tarp for this is the easiest way to dispose of the bedding because I can just dump the bedding onto the tarp and drag the tarp out into the back pasture, which you'll see me do in just a second. But if I had one of those like gorilla carts, that would be easy too, because I could just put the bedding into like the cart and haul it away somewhere, maybe start a compost pile. But I don't have one of those carts yet, so a tarp works just fine. The cows are right around the corner, so I was watching them to make sure they didn't try to like bust through this gate to get into my backyard. Now that I got the bedding all removed, or most of it at least, I'm going to clean up the nesting boxes, and I'm just using a small little dustpan to get up the excess nesting box pad things that I use. I guess it's like straw, and I'm just going to use a spray to wipe down just the dust, and there's some yolk that leaked through the nesting pads onto the nesting box bottom, so I'm just going to spray that down and try to clean it the best I can. So the top 3 nesting boxes didn't need to be cleaned up that much because they don't get used that often. Only a couple chickens lay in the top ones, so if they're not dirty, I'm not gonna waste my time changing them out and cleaning out the top 3. But here are the nesting pads that I use. They're just reusable nesting pads, and these are just so much easier to use than like bedding. And the chickens love them because they can scratch around and kind of create like a little nest, because chickens are birds and they like to nest. And I just get them at Tractor Supply. It's a 10-pack and they last me a long time. But now that I'm done with that, I'm going to work on just wiping down the walls of the chicken coop. And I'm not sure what material this is on the bottom half of the chicken coop. It was already like this when we moved in, and it's kind of like a vinyl, I guess, paneling, and it's screwed into the plywood walls. So I'm just going to leave it here. It works really well and it protects the wood from poop and moisture. So I know it doesn't look the best because the paneling is all different, but it's functional. Okay, I got the coop all cleaned out and I am running out of daylight here. The sun is setting, but I got most of the grime off of the walls and the floor. I'm not going to worry about mopping the floor at all because I'm just going to cover it back up with bedding and it's not that bad. But I think it's about 4:30 now, so I'm just going to probably put the bedding in and get the roost bars back in and finish up the poop shelf tomorrow or start the poop shelf tomorrow because I know the chickens are going to come in soon to roost. But as you can see, the sun is starting to set, so I definitely don't want to get started on building the poop shelf when the chickens are coming in here to go to bed tonight. It's the next day now, and I'm just going to clean the roosting bars with the hose to just freshen up the roosting bars a little bit. I did treat these with like a sealant, but they're not painted, and just going to use a little sponge and the hose to get some of the poop and nastiness off of these roosting bars. Now I'm working on the actual building of the poop shelf. So real quick, if you see those 3 pieces of wood that I have attached to the wall, I have those for the roosting bars. They kind of hold the roosting bars in place. So I did move each piece of wood over a little bit because I wanted each roosting bar to be about 12 inches spaced out from each other. 12 inches from what I Googled is pretty standard for a standard sized chicken. You don't want them too close together because then the chickens are just going to poop on each other at nighttime. So right now I'm screwing on this 2x4 that I'm going to use as the mount for the poop shelf. But first I measured up from the floor to mark the height of the shelf where I want the shelf to sit. I did this on every wall where a support bar will go to keep everything consistent. And I'm also using a level to make sure the bars are perfectly even so the platform sits flat once it's installed. And guys, clearly I am not a contractor or a carpenter. I just am a DIYer. I had an idea of what would work in this space for kind of my vision of what I wanted, and I just ran with it. I took measurements and had my husband help me cut the pieces of wood, and I'm just kind of assembling everything together. So this clip is pretty funny because this piece of plywood was really heavy and it took a lot longer than the clip shows for me to get this board onto the support bars. But I got it done, and once it was on there, I realized that I put the ugly side of the wood facing out. As you'll see here, the blue marking on the edge of the wood. And once it was on, it was on. Like, I did not want to take it off and mess with it again. So I end up painting it red, which you'll see later on in the video. So right now it looks weird being blue, but I didn't think about that when I was putting the board on. So now I am screwing in the pieces of 2x4s that are going to be as like the edging. I'm trying to make just like a big box basically with the wood. That way the bedding that I put in here doesn't fall off of the shelf. So I'm taking a break from building the shelf, and I'm going to start working on the bedding for the main floor of the coop. But first I'm going to put down the first Saturday lime powder. This helps with pests and mites and all that can get in your coop. And then I'm going to add a layer of the Flock Fresh bedding with the Sweet PDZ. And then on top, I'm just going to use the good old pine shavings. I wanted to use hemp because I did enjoy when I used hemp before, but Atwoods did not have the hemp this time, so I just got the pine shavings, and so far it's holding up really well. I have no issues with pine shavings, especially now that I have the poop shelf. The pine shavings are staying so much cleaner. Now I'm putting the roosting bars back up because, again, it was getting close to being dark and the chickens wanted to come in to roost soon. Again, I only had the afternoons to work on this project. So here's the progress I made so far. I'm gonna have to finish the rest tomorrow because I didn't account for the gaps on the two sides. So I'm gonna have to go to Home Depot tomorrow and get 2 more 2x4s for the sides just to kind of block that gap off right there. Those edges both have about a 1/4 inch gap, and if I leave it like that, the bedding is gonna fall through, and then I need to touch up the paint on the nesting boxes and hang up the little curtains or the fabric that I got for the curtains. But here's what it looks like so far. And just like that, it's the next day and we went to Home Depot and I got the 2 2x4s that I needed, and I had my husband cut them to size. And this piece of wood here was a little off, so I just decided to wedge it in, hammer it in basically with the level, and it worked. But now that I've got them in place, I'm going to screw them into each side of the poop shelf, and basically it's just one giant litter box for chickens. And I was also going to crawl underneath and secure the poop shelf to the wooden support bars that are on the wall that it rests on, but I decided to leave it how it is so I can slide the poop shelf back and forth like you just saw. But here was my audience for the day. These are the neighbors' cows, and they were watching me work. It was so funny. And we have awesome neighbors and they help us out on the property a lot since we don't have a tractor, so we allow him to have some of his cows on the back of our property, and it's no big deal to us because we're not trying to be cattle farmers. So the time has finally come, the poop shelf is done, and now I get to fill it up, and I'm going to be using coffee grounds instead of sand as the bedding for the poop shelf. I got this at our local farm store at Woods, and it's actually designed for the chicken coop. I chose coffee grounds over sand because I've used sand in the past and wasn't a fan of it. I even used the viral Chicks Dig It premium chicken sand brand, but coffee grounds are much better at masking odors. They're dust free and dry out the droppings, so that way the droppings are easier to clean out and scoop. And the best part, my coop smells like a coffee shop instead of a stinky farm, which makes my daily chicken chores actually enjoyable. I actually wanted to wait a day to film the rest of this so the chickens could, well, do their business overnight. That way I can show you exactly how I clean the poop shelf. I start by removing the first 2 roost bars, then use my scoop to rake everything forward and sift it out. And this scoop is actually called the Poop Scoop, and it's by a company called Bejeweled Coop. I discovered this company on social media, and this device is really helpful and handy. But I just toss the droppings into a bucket and dump them over the fence when I'm all done. And doing this every day is quick. It maybe takes me 5 minutes, even with 15 chickens pooping here all night long. Okay, the inside of the coop is all done, but here is a quick reminder of what it looked like before I worked on this project. And here is the after. It looks so much better, and my future self is talking to you here. I've had the poop shelf for about 3 weeks now, and it has made a huge difference with how clean the coop is. The bedding stays really clean, and the best thing I could have done for this coop. So now that the coop itself is finished, I'm moving outside to work on the chicken run. First up is removing these greenhouse panels. I screwed them on for the winter to block those cold winter winds, but now it's time for them to go. Now that warmer weather is near, I am so excited for spring. I'm only showing a few here, but I'll be taking down every panel around the entire run to get things ready for the new season. Now it's time for the fun part, the decorating. I wanted to add some greenery out here, but since the coop is too far from the hose to water real shrubs every day, I'm going with a low maintenance hack. I picked up these artificial stems from Hobby Lobby and paired them with some black planters from Walmart. To keep everything secure, I'm just using styrofoam floral blocks that I also got from Hobby Lobby. And of course, I'm going to follow the thriller, filler, spiller method to get that professional look when it's all done. So in case you don't know, the thriller, filler, spiller method is a simple 3-part formula creating professional looking planters. But the thriller is the focal point. It's the tall, eye-catching plant with a strong vertical shape placed in the center of the planter. And then you have the filler, which is the body of the planter, and that is mid-sized plants that make the pot look full. And you want to put that around the base of the thriller. And then you have the spiller, which is like trailing plants that hang over the side of the container. And you want to put it along the edges of the pot to soften the rim. So here is a before clip of what the barn and chicken run looked like when we first moved in. As you can see, there was a lot of cleanup that needed to happen for this to be a functional chicken run. And here's a clip of what it looks like after we moved in and did a lot of cleanup and removed the fencing on the side. And here's what it looks like now. All right, guys, I am all done. So I figured I would just give you a chicken coop and chicken run tour and kind of walk you through our setup and talk about the products that I use in our chicken run and our chicken coop. and things like that. So this barn slash chicken coop came with the house. It's pretty cool though, because there's a loft up at the top and you can access the loft by going up that ladder. And then there's a door that you push up and over and you can get up there, but we never go up there. And then over here on this side is a storage room. And then right here is the chicken coop side. So we love it. I do want to have it repainted just because I think it's been this color for a long time. And as you can tell, the green doors and green window frames are starting to fade. I would love to paint it white and keep the green accents and just retouch up the green paint on them. And then I would love to have the chicken run wood panels painted white as well, because when we had the chicken run built, we didn't have the guy who built it stain the wood in advance. It just would have been an extra cost. And we couldn't do it ourselves because he came and built it, and there was just really no time for us to do that step before he built it. But maybe next year, one project at a time. But we had our chicken run built in the fall, last fall, so fall of 2025. And it's so much better than what was here before. While that chicken run setup was functional, it was fine. We could have kept it how it was. It just didn't look the nicest, and it was very sharp because it was just chain link dog kennel fencing that they put together. And then we wrapped that with hardware cloth. And so there was a lot of rough edges and sharp edges, and it wasn't really enjoyable to come down here and be with the chickens and take care of the chickens. And our 10-year-old daughter, it just wasn't safe for her because she kept rubbing up against the sharp metal edges and would get cut, and I would get cut. So anyway, we decided to just do away with that completely and have a new one built. Aside from all that, the dimensions of our chicken run, it's 20 feet long by 10 feet wide. And then as far as the roof, we do have a green metal roof to match the green roof of the barn. We had the guy wrap the entire thing with hardware cloth. We decided to go with black hardware cloth. I just got it online. And black hardware cloth, you can see through it better. It just looks better than the steel hardware cloth. It is steel, but it's coated with black, if that makes sense. And so he just wrapped the whole thing top to bottom, and it does go down and out on the ground just to give it a little bit of extra protection if we have a digging predator. And as far as the other things outside the run, I do have some solar lights just strung up at the top. And then I have solar security lights kind of just around the perimeter of the chicken run that turn on if you walk by it. There's one there too on the door. And that way, if a raccoon or something did walk by, the light will turn on and hopefully deter the animal away, so they're not wanting to get into the chicken run at night and eat my chickens. And we also added a chicken coop, an automatic chicken coop door to the run door on the outside, and it is powered by solar. It's not battery operated, it's just strictly solar because we have no electric out here. Our coop is about 250 feet away from our house, and running electric down here would be an additional like $2,000 that we don't want to spend right now. So everything out here is completely solar powered. But this automatic chicken coop door is great. I've had it all fall, all winter, and we've had a lot of cloudy days for numerous days in a row, and I never had an issue with the automatic chicken run door, chicken coop door not opening or closing. And I just have the solar panel for the chicken coop door right there on the big door. And then I have a solar panel over here for the string lights that I have run. And then I have a solar panel above that, which is a solar panel for the cameras I have in the chicken run. And then right here on this side, I have another solar panel for the camera over on this side of the chicken run. So lots of solar panels out here. Also, before we go in the chicken run, I'll show you the latch we chose to use for the door. We have a handle here, and then we chose this kind of latch to lock the door because any predator with hands, like a raccoon, cannot open the latch and then get in. And then I just have a carabiner clip here, and I can open it like that. Also, With these types of latches, you got to be careful because you can get locked in. If the wind blows the door shut, you can get locked in. So we put a string through the hardware cloth and tied a washer to the end of it. That way I can pull the string from inside the coop like that from inside, and the latch will open for the door. So over on this side, we have the coop wall, and they have a ramp that goes into their coop, and the door for their chicken coop, the door you see right there, the wooden one, we made when we had the old chicken run set up. I could have put the automatic chicken coop door on this wall here for the chicken coop versus having it on the chicken run door, but I prefer having it on the run because I let my chickens free range, and if the weather is bad or I'm not home in the morning, I know the chickens are going to be able to be out. But someday I probably will get another automatic chicken coop door to put right there and just do away with the one that we made. But for now, I just leave this one up all night long, and that way I don't have to worry about coming down here and opening it manually every single morning to let the chickens out. And we don't have a large animal predator problem here, knock on wood. So nothing big enough could break into this chicken run and get in their coop at night. And with the help of the cameras now, I have a camera up here, and then I have a camera behind me on the opposite wall. But I will get alerted on the camera through the app if something does try to break in here at night, and I can see what it is and come down if needed, yada, yada, yada. But like I said, probably wouldn't want to do that if you live in an area that has bears or large animal predators, because a bear probably could get through any hardware cloth for sure. We have this big wooden gravity feeder for their food. This was in the goat barn originally. It was here when we bought the house, and I hauled it down here because I figured it would be perfect for the chicken coop. It holds 2 40-pound bags of chicken feed, plus there's extra room at the top. So I can fill it up and their food will last them a long time in here. And we haven't noticed any problems of mice here getting into the food. So for now, this works for us. And then next to it, I have their oyster shells and their grit holders. And I'm noticing now that the oyster shells are empty, so I need to fill that up. And that way they have it at their free will. If they need it, it's right there for them. And over on this side, I just have their water. This is an Over Easy brand chicken coop water. It holds 12 gallons of water, so it lasts them a long time. And I did change out the spigots. The ones it came with, I'll show you here on the screen. The spigots it came with are like those little metal ones that they have to wiggle like back and forth to get water. And I decided to switch it out for the cups that you see here because it's just easier for them to get water, and they seem to not have any trouble with the cups. And here is the camera that we have on this side. I don't know how to pronounce that. So there's the brand of it. I just got it off Amazon, and it connects to our Wi-Fi, and then it's powered through the solar panel that I showed you guys. It's mounted on the outside right there. And I have another camera just over on the opposite side right there. So I'm getting views of the chicken run from both angles. All right, and then over on this side of the chicken run is kind of like their little play activity area, if you will. I have a pallet here because if the ground gets wet from a rainstorm or snow, at least they can get up off of the wet ground, because we do get a lot of wind. And when it's rainy and windy, the rain just comes in sideways. So it can sometimes make it a little wet on the ground in here. So having an area for your chickens to get up off the ground is nice. So I have the pallet for that. And then I also built them a little jungle gym with scrap wood that we had just laying around the property. And it's just another way for them to have something to do and get up off the ground. And they do use it quite a bit. You can see there's poop all over it. I gotta clean it up and scrape up all that poop. But just something that I just jerry-rigged together with scrap pieces of wood. Nothing fancy. And it probably doesn't look the best, but it's functional and they enjoy it. And right here I just have a cement mixing tub filled with ash from our wood burning stove, and they like to dust bathe in that, but they do also find little areas inside their run on the ground to dust bathe, so they don't just use that. And right here on this post I just screwed a xylophone for like a baby, and the chickens do kind of peck at it from time to time. I'll see them mess with it, and it's just a noise maker and a boredom buster. It's really important to give chickens something to do, especially if they're going to be in their run for most of the day, because a bored chicken can be a problem with your flock. And I have a shepherd hook here with a string and a net that's got a bowl inside of it, because I do feed my chickens leftovers and fruits and vegetables. And when I was just throwing it on the ground in like a bowl on the ground, they were kicking poop and dirt and stuff into their treats, and then they wouldn't want to eat it. So I decided to just elevate it off the ground, and kind of like another jerry rig thing that I came up with. And it does work. I just put it at the chicken's height, and that way they can still get into the treats, but they're not making the treats all dirty with poop. So here's just kind of an overview of what it looks like. So now I'll go ahead and get out of the chicken run and show you guys just a brief overview of what the chicken coop looks like. If you watched my video, you already saw what the coop looks like, but just for the sake of this tour, I'll go ahead and show you. So they do have 2 windows on their chicken coop, and the previous owners secured hardware cloth to the bottom part of the window, obviously, because if the window is open, you don't want a predator getting in your chicken coop at night. And in the warmer months, I do crack the windows open for air ventilation. So it is nice having hardware cloth already attached to the window. I didn't have to do that. But I did add some little decorations just to make it look cute. And on the door, I put up a wreath just to make it look cute. And here's the ladder that goes up to the loft area. So you can see that little door up there leads to our loft. My husband and my daughter have been up there, but I have not been up there. I'm a little scared to go up there. So my friend made that sign for me. It says Alyssa's Chicken Coop. We're clucking crazy in here because chickens are crazy. And then on top of the nesting boxes, I do have some plastic bird spikes that we screwed into the top because my chickens were trying to roost up there. And because they were doing that, they were pooping all over the top of the nesting box, which I did not want. So that's why there are bird spikes. They are not dangerous to the chickens. They are sharp enough to get the chickens off and not want to roost, but they're not hurting the chickens. Like I could rub my hand over the top of it and I won't get cut. And then this is just a cube storage shelf that I converted into nesting boxes because I had one just laying around in the garage and I needed new nesting boxes, but I didn't want to spend hundreds of dollars on 6 nesting boxes. So I painted the cube shelf white, added some fabric and cut some strips in it for curtains. And my husband added like those wooden boards on the front so the eggs don't roll out, and I just painted them red. And we do have it elevated up on a couple cinder blocks to get it off the ground, and we have it mounted to the wall so that way if there's chickens in there, I don't have to worry about the whole nesting box falling over on top of the chickens. And then here's just how the chicken poop shelf looks. I love it so much. And then we have another window on the east side of the chicken coop.